Yeah, welcome back to the Stuff or Whatever podcast. It's BQuanchi here. We got a very special podcast this week, but before we get started, I always like to say the best way to support me in the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. You can do here on YouTube, follow on X, Twitter for updates and other posts, whatever. And on Twitch, where I do more longer streams of gameplay, usually series and stuff like that too. So those get uploaded back to YouTube as well as VODs. And I also been doing on the regular Let's Play style uploads as well. All on the YouTube channel, and there's links in the description for playlists, for social links, whatever, all that good stuff. But anyways, first thing I wanted to talk about on this podcast is about my dog Spunky. I mentioned a few times, although no one's really listening, but he's been having some issues. He's been getting older and stuff like that. But one of the main issues is that he's been drinking a lot of water and peeing a lot too, which not always a good thing. He has been good about waking me up because he's on the bed with me too. So like wake up for try to get me up versus no accidents on the bed. Maybe occasionally on the carpet, especially if I'm away at work or whatever or something. And yeah, it's kind of sad because he also has hypothyroidism, if I can say that right, hypothyroidism, which he's been on medication for quite a few years. And he lost some weight on that too because he used to be very chunky, my little chunky Spunky. So he's been on that medication. When we did rechecking this, like when the liver value was a little elevated and all that. And then I went on vacation, had a roommate, take care of him and stuff like that. Pretty low maintenance. But when he got back, he seemed like to really be drinking water. Like I kind of felt like there was a little increase that beforehand, but now he's like gulping water like a fish and pissing like a racehorse. But at least like when he's pissing, he's like, pissing what he has. It's not like any crazy like straining or anything like that. And he seems to have much more of an appetite too. Like I have two dogs. I have one named Sparky, and in the past, like sometimes like Spunky wouldn't eat his full meal for breakfast because they feed the meals and stuff like that. And Sparky would always check his bowl and eat whatever leftovers. But he's been pretty good, Spunky, about clearing his bowl. And even sometimes he'll like really be excited for food, or even like bugging me for his breakfast before I even eat mine. So sometimes it's even hard to sleep in. But also like with the water drinking, all that. Been up a couple nights in the middle of nights often until we got like more diagnostics done. And the one thing, like the first thing the vet recommended was to do an ultrasound, which cost is a concern, but eventually got around to that. Liver is fine, so it was kind of not too crazy with the ultrasound, but it kind of ruled a bunch of stuff out, and stuff looks good, especially with his age and stuff like that. Like did ultrasound on his abdomen and stuff like that. We're concerned about his bladder, and we did urinalysis, and that came out clean too. Could worry about like crystals or anything like that. One thing I was glad about is because I actually worked at a vet's office before a long time ago. I was worried about diabetes because I know that can be a little concerning, especially with cost of insulin. And I'm not sure if that's condition kind of makes things, worse in terms of health. Like I always think of like I'm getting cataracts like very rapidly when it comes to diabetes, and at least in dogs. I don't know too much about like other like human diabetes and stuff like that too. But I know like one of the clear indicators is if they have very high blood sugar or if they have glucose in the urine. So that wasn't the case. Like, well, at least he's not diabetic. So I mentioned it to my sister because she actually works at a vet. Even though, like I said, I did have some experience, and she mentioned like, oh, it might be Cushing's disease. And eventually we did the test. It's like another cost. And things kind of align that way. So that's what we're thinking with his, especially with his clinical signs. There's other things too. Like he did have some issues with his hair around his collar, kind of thinning and stuff like that too. Because you can always look it up online. Although looking up online, you might kind of hard to find like the best source out there. But I think with DGen and like medical stuff too, it's like you can find a good baseline, especially if you kind of have some background with it. Yeah, so it seems to be Cushing disease, and been a week since it got his new medication. It's called trilostane, but basically, Cushing disease is it's kind of hard for me to like really like say I'm very knowledgeable about it. Doing like a little research and a little bit about dogs and cats in the veterinary sense, but I think it's the adrenal gland that overproduces cortisol, which is kind of like I think it's like a natural steroid. Kind of like it can be produced during stress, or how do we think like if it could be like a little tumor on the gland or stuff like that, or I don't know. It seems like it can be a lot more complicated stuff. Like if you do like an MRI, you might find out more stuff, but then that's even more costly because you don't really do that too much with dogs and cats unless you have a specialist. Um, so yeah, that was kind of yeah. Because I also remember when we first did his lab work too. Besides the liver value, his doctor said, "Oh, he seems like a little dehydration, like too bad." But that was kind of like the most findings of the blood work. His thyroid was good, which we've been monitoring for many years now. Yeah, he's been on a trilostane. It's kind of be expensive, but luckily pharmacies, if they compound it, because we're gonna vet office, like sometimes medication you can get it cheaper if it's compounded. But the only thing I believe is the case is that it has to be a different strength than the commercial or whatever. And because there's some like I forget the brand for the trilostane, but it's like $130 like for a 30-day supply, and it was lower dose than my vet recommended. So we got capsules, which I think they always have to do capsules when they compound it, but yeah, I just had to force the pill in his mouth, and I'm hoping I'm not knocking on wood or anything, like knock knock. But past couple of nights, like I got up only once to take him out versus like two or three times. Like sometimes it'd be like, oh, at midnight, then like one, and then like three and stuff like that. I'm up in the early in the morning too for getting ready to work, but on my days off, it's a little of a pain too. But especially with like breakfast, he gets a little restless or all that, and I feel like sometimes he wants to get treats just to goes on walks just to get a treat when you bring him back, but that's the thing. So it's been tough because at first, like I feel bad too because I felt like doing all the tests and diagnostics was a little bit spaced out, or took more time to pursue it more, just because cost is a thing, and yeah, I'm not like the most disposable income, especially when it comes to like important things like your pet's health. So I felt like bad about that, and yeah, hopefully this works out. We can manage it. But yeah, it yeah, with all the testing, it does add up, and good thing I have credit cards and all that. But hoping that I don't know. It's tough to complain about because I feel like it's my responsibility. Like I even have that thought of like doing like a GoFundMe for my dog's vet bills, and I don't know. It feels like it's my responsibility, and I could use the help, but not really. That's why sometimes I always think about with this YouTube thing or on Twitch, which Twitch is not really much of anything, just so I can get VODs for the YouTube channel. But if I get money on AdSense to help supplement, paying his vet bills, because there's going to be follow up testing, additional medication he's going to be on for probably the rest of his life. I think he's 12 or 13 years now. I have pictures on my Instagram where I even have like this is kind of stupid off thought, but I did put like the Instagram page and a Twitter page for my dogs, but I haven't updated it. But it's like they're out there for my dogs, Spunky and Sparky. But like to mention, I mentioned that I used to work at a vet. That's how I got my dog Spunky. Is he was abandoned with some other dogs and decided to keep him. So he was actually a free dog. My vet, vaccinated and neutered him for free and all that. And it's a shame. Like it's a long story with no longer working at the vet clinic because my boss retired. It was like a small practice anyway. But yeah, he definitely has a price tag now with all the vet bills. But yeah, it's a little bit tough. But I feel like even back in the day, like I always grew up with dogs and I always wanted one in my adult life, but I always feel like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to afford this. I'm gonna have like a small apartment for the dog I want. So I don't know, there's a little sense of like self pride in a sense, like, hey, at least I can do things instead of letting him get worse or anything like that. But it is tough and all that. So yeah, but that's pretty much out there. I wonder if that's going to help anyone out there who are dog owners, because I feel like not too many people know about Cushing's disease, or at least I think people maybe know about diabetes in dogs and all that. So, and usually you see like increased water drinking and peeing with that too, and all that. But it's a pain because there's the cost with all the tests and diagnostics. But it's me kind of venting a little bit just because it's getting better, but it wasn't easy getting up 3 times in the middle of the night just to take your dog out to go pee and still having some accidents on the carpet and all that. But it is what it is. It's the pains of responsibility. So next thing I want to talk about on this podcast is AI art, specifically on Facebook. And I like Facebook. I know a lot of people have the complaints, but I feel like with my personal use of Facebook, it's like my private bubble, because it's like with friends and family and stuff like that. So I feel like I don't get too crazy with it, especially like social media like Twitter, mainly, or like Reddit or stuff like that, where it's like engage with anyone who wants to engage you back. But Facebook, it's like a little private bubble. But one complaint, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I wish they would have like a following, or like a because there's like the For You where it recommends stuff, and then following. Like, I wish it was a way to look at the feed with just people who you're friends with, but it doesn't look like Facebook does that. And so many ads and stuff like that too. But see, like a bunch of dumb Facebook pages, like fan pages or something. Sometimes it'd be like movie posters too, and fake ones, like, oh, a fake sequel and stuff like that. And I feel like people like believing it, or no, I didn't see like AI art ones too. Like, I almost want to do a video just kind of reacting, because it's been a while since I reacted to AI art. I always like kind of poking fun of it, and just like noticing like how bad it is in terms of what it gets right, what it gets really wrong. Because like some one about like Tom and Jerry, like the cartoon with the cat and the mouse, and it's just like weird. I don't know. I might just like do a little react video to it too, but it feels like some of them like takes place in the hospital. Like one of them is in the hospital bed. There's like a lot of them. Like, I believe it's supposed to be Jerry, but they keep making Jerry a cat, even though he's a mouse. It's like a smaller cat with like his brown color, so it can get really weird. You can see like all the imperfections, and the thing that always blows my mind too is the comment section too. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, that's so cute." Like, I feel like none of it realizes it's AI art. Or like, "Oh, great picture" and stuff like that. And I don't know too much about Facebook in terms of like fake accounts or just people being clueless and stuff like that too. Because I think there's a few times like people notice imperfections with the picture and stuff like that, or like knowing that clearly AI art. And then another one I wanted to mention, because I did post it on my X on my Twitter, but someone made a AI generated art for I guess paying respects or tribute to Akira Toriyama. That did kind of suck that he passed away, but they basically had like Goku by his gravestone, and he had like the Dragon Balls and stuff like that. And like some of the really glaring things about it is that there's like 10 Dragon Balls, and they all like really stacked on each other. Like, Dragon Balls are spheres, it's like stacking balls or baseballs on top of each other. It doesn't make sense. And like 8 of 10 of them were 2-star Dragon Balls, and 2 were 1-star. So it would look pretty bad. And like the tombstone had like some nonsense on it too, and it had like the it's supposed to be like Shenron the dragon, but kind of like maybe it's like an ornament for the tombstone. But I didn't notice until after I posted it, because there was like a thread talking about like AI art. I think it was kind of like referring to Akira Toriyama, but it's more general. But of course, at the time, that's where your mind goes to. But when I posted it, and people like noticed, oh, like the dragon, like his eyes were the wrong color, his horns looked different, his nails were supposed to be different color and stuff like that too. So, I don't know, it's so weird. Like when you look at it more, even saw another one that had like Akira Toriyama, like in his bed, and like a bunch of like I guess Dragon Ball Z fighter characters surrounding him, but there's like none of them look like they're from the anime. Like that one kind of looks like Tien, but he doesn't have an eye on his head, and it looked very nonsensical. And I don't know, it's just like really weird. But I think the main argument is like it's really disrespectful too. Because you see like especially like when it comes to art versus like anime, manga, cartoons, American, Japanese, whatever. A lot of artists like to play tribute and do fan art and stuff like that. And a lot of people aren't talented enough to really be an artistic type, where drawing well or anything like that. So I think if you want to pay tribute and you're not an artist yourself, just post like any work from the deceased, like celebrate their work, like what was important to you, what impacted you, or what's fitting as well. So all this AI art is like really, it leaves a really bad taste in people's mouth and stuff like that too. But I don't know if it's just, I don't know, it's like in your little bubbles online, you feel like, yeah, this is stupid, and then people like eat it up and like love the AI stuff and all that. Especially on Facebook, but it's like one of the things that I kind of notice, but I don't like dig through all the comments or anything like that. But it's just weird that there's so many like fan pages with like thousands, even like maybe I have to look into it. But the Tom and Jerry one I mentioned, I think it either had like 10,000 or 100,000, which is crazy. With plus what they put out is what they intend to put out too, which is the craziness of it. But yeah, I just feel like these AI arts. Things in general, but like on Facebook, it just kind of like a weird thing to look at. So next thing I want to talk about too is the TikTok ban, and I'm gonna give my loose dumb summary of it because I'm sure others covered in more detail or talked about it more. I don't think it's been patched yet. I know that, I'm not sure if it just has to be signed by the president or it has to be like I think it was passed by the House, but not the Senate yet. But it really looks like it's going to be. The thing is, like, it's not technically a TikTok ban. It's like basically they can ban an app that they can view as a security threat or whatever the country and stuff like that too. Especially since TikTok's based in China, and I think even like stuff like Biden said he would like sign it if it gets to that point. So it seems like if it passes the House and Senate or whatever, I'm not too much of a political guy to like really get into the nitty gritty of it, but it seems like it's very likely. Also, the thing is like if they do declare TikTok, like if this law is passed and they declare TikTok a threat, they have I think 6 months, and they could sell it. So that's the thing. Like if TikTok gets sold to a different company in a different country, that can bypass the TikTok platform itself from being banned. I don't know how much money. It seems like TikTok's been like the big thing for a while and all that. But even the funny thing about the whole like story of it is that they had that notification to users on TikTok, like, hey, call your congressman and stuff like that too, like save TikTok or stop the ban or whatever. And yeah, a lot of people called it their congressman, and I think this got flooded so much, and I think even then, like, it's staffers answering the phones. I'm not sure. I'm guessing a lot of them on being as respectful, like, don't take away my TikTok, like, fuck you, and all that. It'd be like, I'm guessing young kids or teenagers or, I don't know. I think it's still like a wide range of users for TikTok, but like, I feel like that's backfired because, like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to pass this in the House and stuff like that too. So I don't know. It seems just kind of funny. I don't care too much about TikTok. I use it. I haven't uploaded anything on a while because I've been waiting to build up stuff because whatever I put on shorts on this channel, mostly like impressions of indie game demos I played or critic games reviews and stuff like that. So I had more reason to put shorts on the channel. I just slap it on TikTok, even though it doesn't really do much, but who knows? Like, it might get traffic to the YouTube channel, may not. But anyways, and the thing too with TikTok too, that TikTok. Did I say TikTok? I forgot what Nancy Pelosi said. Like, she made like a tic-tac-toe kind of TikTok toe. It's so cringe. I can't even recall it exactly, but it's like one of the examples of like people in government, especially how old people can be. I'm kind of clueless when it comes to these kind of things, but oh well. they run the countries, unfortunately, and all that. But yeah, even like the TikTok is banned on government devices, like I think like on military or like government stuff. So there is somewhat of a ban, but yeah, it also kind of makes me think about like what is it like during the Red Scare, or like back decades ago, like people would be worried about communist spies or Russia spies and stuff like that, and being like paranoid, like oh they're gonna spy on the data, like they're gonna and the country's gonna cyber attack us. Maybe more in recent, I forget, but it feels like you always have this like one side, like oh like be paranoid, worried about spies, cyber attacks and stuff like that, versus like oh they have some concerns like oh whatever it's China, I want my TikTok, I want my little short videos and stuff like that too. Or I want this is my job, this is my income, and all that. Which I think kind of want to talk about a little bit too. But I always find it weird. Like TikTok's been like the new job in terms of like influencer and stuff like that too. Because like the last thing I want to comment about with the TikTok thing is that like China's really big on like banning or suppressing or censoring like especially internet stuff. Like correct me if I'm wrong for no one who's listening, but like TikTok banned like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So it's like, hey, maybe we should ban some of their uh, social media apps or platforms or whatever. It's China's just like really bad, and I hear like TikTok in this in their country looks different in terms of what they view what's delivered to them. I think I'm pretty sure they still have YouTube or whatever, but like they really censor stuff. They like want to hide information from citizens and stuff like that too. So it's kind of funny. You see, like US is like, oh, we may want to ban TikTok because we have these concerns about like data, and even like what was it during like the 2020 elections and stuff like that. People were like, oh, Facebook's doing this or data mining or selling data and whatever and stuff like that. But okay, oh, TikTok, no, that's fine. And like I use TikTok, and I think it's because it's the hip thing. But yeah, also going back to TikTok and like income or the job and stuff like that, I always find that kind of weird. Just because I'm thinking back like the NPC, which I think is still a thing, like NPC girls or people acting like NPCs for like gifts, like the live stream, whatever it's called on TikTok and stuff like that. And like I heard the term like e-begging, which is kind of the main thing with it. I always kind of find that weird because I think that's when people doing nothing, and it's like, oh, yeah. So I don't know. It could be like the people doing really creative stuff, like even back in the day, like Vine, people doing creative stuff, and then they moved to other platforms when Vine died. But yeah, like I don't know. It'd be weird to see the outcome because if the laws do get passed, I'd say there's maybe a good chance that TikTok would just like sell and all that. Well, I'm not sure like all the dealings and stuff like that, like how good things money they make as it is, like if it's worth selling or keeping, even if the U.S. market is off because of the ban. But who knows? And next thing I wanted to talk about are fast food apps. And it's funny. I eat a lot. I don't want to admit this too much, but I do eat a good amount of fast food. Not always, because I'm kind of stingy. Don't want to eat out so often. Although fast food is kind of like the more lower tier in terms of cost versus like other places and stuff like that too. But I never really got into fast food apps because I see like, oh, you can get rewards and this and that, or order ahead, which I always kind of find real weird. Although it's kind of a convenience as well, but I think I get it from my dad because my dad like hates bringing food home. Like, hey, if eating food, like get it there so we can eat it when it's ready versus like getting to go. So I was worried like if I order ahead, if I'll probably order something close by, and I was worried like if I go to a drive-through, how's it handled? Especially like back during the pandemic when stores weren't open, but you can go to the drive-through and stuff like that. It was worried like miscommunications or all that. But like I think like commercials with deals and stuff like too, like hey, for the Taco Bell one, you can get the $5 craving box, but you have to order it through the app. I saw one recently for like Wendy's, and like you can get the classic single for $1 or the double for $2, but you have to get it from the app. And one thing I'm worried about, one thing I'm like curious about, if there's like so many customers who don't get that part, like they see, oh, you can get this good deal, like a $1 burger, and then they go there and like, I want the $1 burger, and they don't use the app, or they're clueless, and it's like, no, you have to use the app. because I can definitely see angry customers throwing a fit, especially with these poor minimum wage workers or entry level whatever get a bunch of crap because to get enough crap as it is, which I always find bizarre because I can't like I always try to be a nice I can use. I'm just like, hey, I'm picking my food or I'm ordering my food, this and that. Not to make things too complicated, but I'm the kind of person like I hate pickles on burgers, but I would almost never tell them to take the pickles off because I don't know. I always feel like I'm gonna check it anyways, and it's not that big a deal. Other sometimes I just got to go food today. I like this kiosk where you can like check stuff out, but like oh well, you can customize your order, so that's pretty much the same as the app too, in terms of like customizing stuff. But again, people get things wrong because unfortunately, people just don't care who just like show up to work. But a lot of people do. There's a lot of I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because have actually worked fast food in my life. But I do respect people who do so and stuff like that too. Like I think it comes with any job, like retail or and the services too. Like you can tell, like when you call into like a call center for like a credit card or insurance and stuff like that too. Like you can tell when people like don't care or when they do and try to be helpful or what have you. But I kind of wonder if first off these fast food apps are worth it. Like oh you can especially if they have app exclusive deals or they have rewards. Like if you have so many points you earn from ordering and stuff like that too, you can get like rewards. A friend had like McDonald's once. I'm kind of like familiar with it a little bit, but I don't know. I just kind of like curious about those fast food apps and stuff like that too. And it's one of that does cause like the occasional like angry customer who doesn't understand or know. Like you can use the app to do this, or you can get these special deals just because it's also advertised like on TV or on websites or stuff like that. So they see the ad like, oh, I can get that cheap deal of a cravings box or whatever, and then get pissed off when they can't get it. Or they'd be told like you have to use the app, and then they don't want to. But I don't know. I'm just like thinking a little bit too much. But I'm curious if there's been like people who work fast food have customers give them shit for not understanding the app, especially if they want a certain deal or a price for whatever food item. So the last thing I want to talk about is Wonka in two ways. I did eventually saw the new Wonka movie that came out last year because I got HBO Max, but it's like provided by my cell phone provider, so it's kind of neat that I don't have to pay for it. It just has ads and commercials, but I'll watch it because I saw it kind of like popped up and stuff like that too. And I didn't care for the movie. It's other thing that I like about it. I think visually it looks really good. I like the costumes, the backgrounds, and stuff like that too. I guess it has a decent cast, but I didn't see it right away because I thought it was a good idea to or interesting idea to have a movie based on Willy Wonka, but be more of a prequel, like when he was starting up and all that. So I thought that was a really neat premise, but I just didn't care for the movie. Like I think, well, like the other two movies, like there's a classic one with Gene Wilder and the Tim Burton one, and music's a big part of it too. But I felt like for the Wonka movie, I didn't care for the songs too much. There was like one song because his character name has a nickname Noodle. And it felt like that song they were like Dr. Seussing the crap out of it, like making up words that rhyme with noodle and all that. Like it looked good, and yeah, I also can't tell you how the movie ended because I remember like okay because there's like these people who are trying to stop Wonka from selling chocolate because they don't want him to take their business, so like hire richer guys. Like encroaching on the territory and stuff like that too. But it's something like a ledger book that they wanted to get to prove something, which I forgot. It's funny because I think one of my complaints too is they made Wonka like very naive, like the street smart and then this street dumb, and he was like very street dumb. Like he got scammed to like being in this. I guess you can say like a hotel or something like that, but it's like some stupid cashing contract. Like, hey, read a contract, and that's fine. And it gets screwed over. And then there's like other people who got a handful of other people who got screwed over too. In the end, like they become friends and like help him with his goal of getting this ledger, but I cannot tell you what they did, what part they played. One thing I did like about the movie is Hugh Jackman. He played Oompa Loompa, and he kind of showed up on occasion. In the Oompa Loompa song, they reference that a few times, which is a bit kind of one of the best parts of the movie, is referring to the old one, though at least the original. And I did remember, like, there was a room they're going to flood with chocolate and drown Wonka and Noodle, and then he saved them. And then like he got a location for where he's going to start his factory. So I guess the ending was kind of like nice, but most of the movie is almost like forgettable. But also, I guess it was pretty well received because I like saw I can't say his name for sure because I'm gonna butcher it. But he's also and Dune is like, oh, he had like two movies back to back that were very successful. Like, oh, people like the Wonka movie because I felt like out of the three main ones, like the Tim Burton ones, I think is a whole lot better. I think that one a lot too. I know people like rag on that one for Tim Burton and Johnny Depp's performance, which I think it's good. I like some of the ending part of that one, or third act, where he kind of built like Willy Wonka meeting up with his father, who's a dentist and stuff like that, and talked about like his background, about like not getting candy or chocolate because his dad was a dentist and it's kind of forbidden. So I appreciate that. I feel the classic with Gene Wilder. It's hard to say that's not the best one. It definitely has, maybe just because it's the first, but I thought the Tim Burton one was really good. I know a lot of people narc on it, but I think out of the three, I wonder how people rank it now. And also going on with Wonka, kind of old news, but the whole like Wonka experience that was in England and all that was kind of a big scam. I'll just summarize it a little bit better than what I can, but it's like I think it's like Illuminati event or something, but they like promote it with a bunch of AR art, and it's like, oh, there's gonna be like a candy room and this and that, and find out there's like barely a few things, like a bouncy house and a few decorations, and like the Oompa Loompa chick with the lab set and I think the unknown. And it turns out there was like a really AI generated script for like the actors, like for Willy Wonka, which I don't think they even got paid. But I bring this up too because I saw like a post saying like how the organizer said that it kind of like ruined his life, and saying like he lost friends, he lost the love of his life, and he's been getting hundreds and hundreds of hate messages and stuff like that. Which I think it's kind of well deserved. Like he set up a scam to get a bunch of money, and I think allegedly didn't pay actors, that people who showed up were hired in a sense to run the event. Like the actor do play as Willy Wonka and stuff like that. But the last, like the cherry on top, is that I guess this guy published 16 AI generated books on Amazon last year. Like, dude, like go screw yourself. Like you kind of deserve to hate. Like I don't think people should be harassed to like a certain point, but it's like you kind of deserve it. Like don't complain like people get mad at you or you lose friends or stuff like that for being a little scumbag, for scamming people, for doing low effort, like trying to make books from AI generated text and stuff like that. So that's the only reason I'm bringing that part up is that to add a little nugget that hey, this guy made a bunch of AI generated books and stuff like that. So like, it's really hard to have sympathy for that. But anyways, that'll do it for this podcast. So thanks for listening. For no one who is. Again, the best way to support me in the channel is to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not sure if we're going to do much of these podcasts on the regular, just to have more stuff to talk about, or it's practice talking to microphone and all that, but mostly like the Let's Play, the gaming stuff, whether it be streams on Twitch where you can follow, and let me know any recommendations too, especially on gaming stuff, like what I should play, what I should check out, talk about, all that. But at the end of the day, it's a little hobby, but who knows what the future may hold. But even like this one, like talking about my dog Spunky and his Cushing's disease, maybe that's going to be helpful, maybe not. Maybe no one would even give it two shits, but oh well. That will do it. So y'all take care and hope you all have a good rest of your day. Bye.